The trade and investment team have had a fantastic year, more than £40 million worth of business won for British companies in Austria, but also increasing numbers of Austrian companies deciding to set up their activities in the UK, and that's a really strong trend that we'll be working to continue over the next year, contributing to obviously more jobs and economic growth in the UK. There have been three real standout highlights for me this year. The first took place at the end of the year when we had for the first time in 30 years a bilateral visit from the Prime Minister, who came to see his Austrian counterpart Werner Faymann to talk about our EU reform plans. Fantastic visit, only very short unfortunately, but really successful, and the culmination of a whole year of intense activity for us in building up stronger political relationships with the Austrian government. So that was a great end to the year. In the middle of the year, even more momentous, if I could say that, was the agreement that we reached with Iran as part of the E3+3 group on their nuclear programme. That was the result of the culmination of years of activity. For the last 3.5 years that I've been here, we have been heavily engaged in negotiation, in providing advice, in supporting the team as they came to talk to the Iranians here, and the signing of that agreement on the 14th of July was really a historic occasion. I don't think I'll get the chance to be involved in something like that in the rest of my career. I think it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and something which we can genuinely say has changed the world for the better. And that process was, the second part of that process was concluded last week with the IAEA Board of Governors meeting, which drew a line under the contact between the agency and Iran on the possible military dimensions of their programme. And the final thing, which is perhaps on a lighter note, in May, as you'll remember, Austria hosted the Eurovision Song Contest, and we had a full programme of activities here, including a concert here by the, unfortunately, rather less than successful British act. But we also took the opportunity to highlight and showcase the United Kingdom as a holiday destination for the LGBT community, and that was a great success. Lots of people told us what an impressive operation it was, and we got the chance to talk about, not just about that, but about the UK in general to many of the fans who'd come to Vienna to see the song contest. So that was a rather different sort of experience, but it was equally enjoyable. I think particularly when people are working as hard as we have done this year, it's important to also enjoy ourselves. And we've done a number of things this year to highlight the lighter side of us as a team. On the Austrian National holiday at the end of October, we all got dressed up in our Austrian Tracht or national dress, so the male embassy employees in their lederhosen and the women in their dirndls. And that was not really surprisingly one of the most liked pictures we've ever put out on our Twitter and Facebook pages. And then towards the end of the year, we did it in rather a more traditionally British way, dressing up in our Christmas sweaters of dubious taste, but of great enjoyment. And again, that showed us, I think, in a slightly different light. People don't expect diplomats to do that sort of thing, and I think it's really nice to show that we're human too. Well, I think there'll be a huge amount of work to be done on the EU reform agenda. The European Council in December started the discussions at that level, but there'll be a lot of work to do between now and probably February, when there'll be a decision on the reform package. So that will involve a lot of activity across the bilateral embassy. On the UN side, the implementation of the Iran deal and the time leading up to implementation day, and then the verification work will continue. So that will be a focus of the UN team. There's also a really important UN meeting on drugs taking place in New York in April, and the UK is at the forefront of preparation for that. We have some important objectives to achieve at that meeting. So those three things will be will keep me pretty busy, keep all of us pretty busy actually for the time I have remaining in Vienna.